CM Punk's talking ish again. CM Punk's dropping pipe bombs again. And WrestleMania is a few days away. I need to wash my underwear. Yes, I have to do laundry. I have so much to do. I am the rabbit in Alice in Wonderland, just gathering all of my things, trying to look at my table, my linked up chain and a watch, and I'm looking at my watch. I'm late. Yeah, we're late. So much to get into. It is Rings and Rambles. If you're with this live, we want to hear from you. We want you to get on screen with us. We want you to tag your wrestling buddies. We want you to get in the comments below. We have so much to talk about. CM Punk is dropping pipe bombs again, going off on AEW, talking about the Vince McMahon allegations. Very, very serious things. He did a big interview today with MMA Hour that just broke. That delayed our show. We were going to go live, and then that literally just kind of started to come out, and we have some poll quotes and things about it. I didn't get to finish the interview, but we needed to talk about it because there are some juicy things that he says here that really, this is the first interview he's given about the entire exit from AEW, which was very unceremonious, where he was the biggest draw. He wrestled his last match for them on their biggest show ever, and then got into a fight backstage and left and had backstage issues after another backstage fight. So there's a lot to get into. He goes off on AEW. He's now confidently in WWE. He also talks about the McMahon stuff. WrestleMania is this week, the biggest wrestling show of all time. Nick Hartson with me. Nick, are you feeling WrestleMania?
I'm feeling it. I got the fever.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching old WrestleManias. Yeah. Oh yeah. I got the chills. What
old WrestleManias do you fire up? This is the time of year where you fire up an old WrestleMania. Just because you're like nothing's on. I'm reading wrestling news. I got to fire up an old WrestleMania.
So I went way back just yesterday, and I went to WrestleMania 8.
Okay. Who's your dome? Indiana.
Yes. And then I had to watch WrestleMania 13 as well, where Stone Cold, he was the champ.
No, that was at the Rosemont Horizon, the building I was in last week for Raw.
Yes.
I heard some people call that the biggest Raw of all time, or the best Raw they've seen in years. I was there. Quick thoughts on Monday at Raw from last week. I know this is a week behind here. I did a vlog about it. That's up on our Instagram and our shorts and stuff like that. Nice. People saying Copeland versus Cardona in AEW was great. Yeah, I did see it. That was actually a really fun match in terms of a surprise match in AEW. I agree. But want to hear how you guys are feeling here. We'll get to your questions. If you guys have questions about everything with WrestleMania, we'll do a WrestleMania Q&A at the end. What's going on, Kim Gray? How you doing? Hope Bo is well. Kim's been listening to shows, watching shows for a long time. Want to hear from you guys here. Sound off and get on screen. People saying WrestleMania 30. Some people are watching old WrestleManias. That's a great one. That was the first one on the network. But yes, I was at Raw last week. They had as many people as they had at Survivor Series. So they blew up the whole back end. They didn't have the screen. You can see that on TV. It was so promo heavy. Like, that show was so promo. If you watched the whole Raw, if you didn't just watch the segments, it was very promo heavy. But I don't think people mind because it was all consequential stuff. I didn't leave it feeling, oh, this is too promo heavy and it doesn't matter. The crowd cared. That ending with Rock and Cody was incredible. And you didn't know you were getting The Rock, and he had the biggest pop of the night because people didn't know that, even though CM Punk sold all the tickets. And he came out and cut a promo. We'll talk a lot about CM Punk here. Want to hear from you guys here. 510. I'm going to SmackDown for the first time on May 10. SmackDown, different show. Flies by. Raw's 3 hours. The commercial breaks kind of wear on you in terms of the tempo when you're there live, and it goes up and down. But that's just natural. Yeah. And Kim saying she went to WrestleMania 25. I'll never forget. So jealous. So jealous. She got to see Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker live. I'm jealous. Rate your level of jealousy, Nick, for this woman, Kim, who just saw it.
Is there a level of jealousy that I can go to? Because I mean, those are two of my favorite all-time wrestlers right there. So
that's a match. If you watch it now, you still feel like you're watching it like as it happens. That's how good it is.
Definitely. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that one after this podcast right here because I've been going back, and that's one that I haven't hit yet leading up to this one. So
when they make a t-shirt just for a match that happened, like that's when you know it's good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but
keep it going. Let's get into this here before we talk WrestleMania. And we have some breaking news here because WWE is doing the big media rollout. They have so much media they're doing this week. You're going to see I believe one of the people are going to pop up in the late night TV shows. They have media in New York. My assumption is someone's going to be on the Tonight Show this week. They tend to do the Tonight Show on NBC this week. MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani. And he is a very respected very respected journalist. He had Becky Lynch in today. He also had CM Punk in. And the CM Punk quotes are the ones that are already hitting the wrestling media sphere and being interpreted, because you have a CM Punk who's a couple months removed from leaving All Elite Wrestling under some very unceremonious exits, where he got into that fight at the All In show back in September after getting into a fight at the All In the year before and going off of people and all these different things. I can cover it all. I want to cover everything for context, right? Because I always think someone's going to forget, but I think enough.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's good.
What do you think? Are you worn out on the whole CM Punk AEW controversy news?
No, he's in WWE now, so I've kind of moved on from it a little bit, but it's good. It's juicy, it's 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 a little crazy to hear.
Like a good Italian beef. Let's dip it here, okay?
Let's get into
it. So he had a lot to say. We watched a good chunk of the interview, couldn't finish because I just wanted to get live here. And he talked about the Vince allegations. We'll talk about them here in a second. But he really talked about how that there's some things that are shocking in this. First off, he doesn't have an NDA. You would think he would have signed an NDA because he would have went off on this thing sooner, or at least on his exit from the company, there would have been some type of non-disparagement agreement. Non-disclosure, non-disparagement sometimes can be two different things. But he says, I don't think I can talk about it, but I didn't have to sign an NDA for anything I did wrong. Okay, so you're admitting some things you did wrong.
Yeah,
I have nothing to hide and don't give a shit. So in the same breath, he's like, maybe alluding to this. Maybe I went a little bit too far in some things, but I don't really care. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And another part of it is he's asked how things went down, and he said he wishes things had gone differently. Obviously, he had some success there. He won the world title for them. He helped them sell some tickets, did some ratings. Biggest rating they've ever had on Rampage. Second week they had the show. It's him. I think you can go back and be like, well, I wish I never did the media scrum. Scrums are stupid anyway. Yeah, those things were really cringe. Mind you, he could be doing one right after WrestleMania this week. I'm not saying he's going to be at one, but I remember right after Survivor Series when he showed up and he didn't come out at the media scrum. I was in the building. And everyone's like, they're going to bring him out, right? So I'm like texting people that are in the media scrum. They're going to bring him out, right? And they didn't bring him out because the media scrums in AEW was so controversial, and everyone said, "Oh, so much better in WWE." Yeah, whatever. And it's very interesting here. He speaks about Tony Khan. Big quote here on him. He's not a boss. He's a nice guy. Wow. I think ultimately that is the detriment to the company, but it's not my company. I'm an outsider. Well, you were an insider once, buddy. You were. So you're showing some insight there. And sound off. Let us know what you guys think about this entire story. We'll cover more of this. It is certainly intriguing to hear him go off on this, and you can tell the resentment on his end about this entire scenario. And it gets even worse because he got fired from the company. By the way, when they were in Chicago, he got fired from the company. He says, I did what I had to do addressing the firing. I came here to talk to you from the bottom of my heart. You're talking about that transcript and everything like that. And they conducted the investigation and blah, 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 blah. And so it's wild. Yeah, it's just nuts. Like the whole addressing that and like him responding to it, him poking holes in it, and the more that this isn't me siding with CM Punk because he's a Chicago guy, and I'm not saying he's right. There's wrong on both ends here, but it definitely at this time of year you're really kicking dirt at him. People think CM Punk pathetic. The people calling Tony Khan things that are alleged. Yep. And then 5 cents saying he'll be better there. Brianna, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Brianna.
Good afternoon.
So CM Punk goes off here. What do you think, bud?
It's kind of crazy. I didn't expect this today. I didn't know that he was going to be interviewing, but I did not expect him to drop some more pipe bombs like this. And it was interesting to hear that he didn't have an NDA, and why wouldn't they have that with him? Knowing all the bad blood that he has with the company. But yeah, just kind of crazy to hear that today, and big time news. Tony Khan, sorry, bud, he's coming at you right now, but it's yeah, shocking to say the least. I mean, I guess I should expect this out of CM Punk because this is what he does from time to time, but I just expected them to have some kind of clause to where he couldn't speak out against the company, and it's a little weird to find out that they didn't have that.
Well, some people thought that maybe he could have sued the company, or he could have went into another big legal fight, but he already had one of those with a WWE doctor. Some people think that was with WWE, but it was with the WWE doctor, to be clear. And in the same interview, he talks about how he got into that fight with Jungle Jack Perry over him using real glass, and then taking the opportunity during a pre-show match that's streaming to make fun of him on camera and distract from the whole match. And it was a mess because he went back and they got into a fight backstage right before the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Right in front of Tony Khan. And he goes, this is one of those things like this. There's all these rumors about NDAs. There's a big difference between not being allowed to talk about shit and not wanting to talk about shit. I don't particularly want to litigate this again. So he just doesn't want to go through the legal fight again. But
yeah, makes sense.
Tony's big idea was a separate show. We're going to do separate everybody. I said that would never work. Just let me go. Who cares? It's best. These guys don't want me here. He's talking about the issue he has with the Bucks then. This isn't a real business. This isn't a business predicated on making money, drawing money, selling tickets. It's not what it was sold to me as. Let me go. So he, after the first blow up, wants out.
Yeah.
Or is okay with being let go. The second day we had the show, I'm sitting in catering. Tony Schiavone comes to me and he says, Jack is cussing me out. He cussed out Mike Mansouri. Mike Mansouri is a long-standing producer with WWE and is a big part of AEW now. He's probably he's like their Kevin Dunn, if you will, in terms of producing things. And he's cussing out the doctor. This is Tony Schiavone coming to CM Punk, and saying this young wrestler is saying these mean things to established people in the company. I was told people were being separated so that there's no problems. So you don't want me in this? You all need to handle this, because if you don't, I'm going to handle this. And if you're not going to like how I'm going to handle this, I don't know anything about Jack being on vacation, but here are people that work 1 day a week and don't want to. They want to show up, wrestle, film vignettes, and sit at home for weeks. Do what you want. It's not my company, but not on my show. All right, so he's claiming Collision is his show. All right. What Jack wanted to do was he wanted to smash the window of a rental car with a pipe. And I was like, Doc's told you no. Daryl's told you no. Mike's told you no. Schiavone told you no. Apparently you've cussed them out. So I'm telling you no. We don't do that here. If you want to do that, go to Wednesday and do it.
Oh, man.
To come to this show and everyone's supposed to be separated to get rid of all the drama, and you're swearing at a doctor because it's real glass. It's gonna get in your eye. You'll shoot your eye out, Jungle Jack Perry.
Oh, man.
You'll shoot your eye out. You're gonna shoot that BB gun.
Love it. Christmas story reference.
It's gonna get in your eye. There's a safe way to do that. And I politely said to him, I said, this is a different show. If you want to go to where he keeps doing it, he keeps using it as an opportunity to fire at the Bucks too.
That's great.
Yeah, he goes, he clearly took something very business-minded, very personal, which is fine because I've done that before too. And it's very much who he's friends with. And shit never got squashed, and nobody's in charge. And it turned into what it turned into. The fight.
Man.
Now he talks about the fight. Thank you for this breakdown.
Let's hear it.
Wrestle talk, by the way. Here we go. You ready for the fight? Here's the second fight that happened backstage. Jack came back from his match. I was the next match. I've got people with me. I'm not going to say who they are because I've got a lot of friends that work there, and I don't want them to be punished for being friends with me. Good on you. That's fair.
Yeah.
You don't want to bring the heat on other people. I walk up I'm like, why do you insist on doing dumb internet shit on TV? And he was like, well, if you've got a problem, do something about it. And I'm like, come on, man. I can kill you. What are we doing? I thought I was doing the responsible thing. I didn't punch anybody. I just choked somebody a little bit.
Oh my gosh. Just
Samoa
a little bit.
just a little.
Just a little joke.
Come on. Just a little.
Okay.
I'm not laughing at CM Punk. It's just
Me
the
neither.
insanity of wrestling, by the way.
Yeah.
To be clear, if anyone sends a clip of me saying this, no, this is how outlandish wrestling is. You know what I mean? And this is any company. I've seen stuff like this on the independent level. It's just like big, a lot of people with a lot of like pride and stuff like that. He continues on. Samoa Joe was there and told me to stop. Then I quit. I turned to Tony. I said, this place is a fucking joke, man. You're a clown. I quit. I went to my room. Joe and Larry Lynn got me and said, let's just go out there and kill it. So Jerry Lynn is a very prominent wrestler and agent and producer with AEW. Joe is who is wrestling in that match. I was just too fired up. I'm fired up now. I'm probably going to regret talking about it. So, I mean, this kind of connects the dots on his end in terms of what happened with that entire mess.
Yeah.
You know, and there's been a lot of reporting on that. And people saying they love this interview. Angie saying she loved this interview. And I just transcribed it all thanks to Wrestle Talk reading them out. And Kim saying, I just hope Punk isn't trying to self-sabotage himself. Things seem to be going well right now. Well, he said some testy things on Raw. He said a lot of that stuff on Raw, but I mean, he can only cut promos right now. True. Brienne saying, I read somewhere that Vince is back with WWE and TKO. Ooh. No, nothing to that. I can say if you said any rumors about that isn't exactly true. He did talk about the allegations against Vince McMahon, which are very, very serious. Yeah. And they reference SA. I'll use an abbreviation there just because sometimes the algorithms online will bury what we're talking about. But we're talking about very, very serious allegations that you guys can easily find. I'm not avoiding it. I just don't want our audience to suddenly not see us because I brought up the literal thing I want to talk about. But he compared it to wildly Chris Benoit in 2007, how he was wrestling in WWE and how he was having this one wonderful, heartwarming moment with Benoit backstage one day, meeting his son and stuff like that. And his son was like taping up his wrists like Punk would, and loved that. And then a couple weeks later, he's crying on TV because he found out that Chris died one night, and then the next night that there was a tragedy that involved Chris, allegedly, as far as we know. And it seems like that, and it appears that way, taking the life of himself, his wife, and his son. And how hard that is to process those different things, you know. Yeah. And he's kind of like, and Becky Lynch did this as well. She said this in a different interview. She's really doing a bunch of interviews. I had this experience. I owe a lot of my career to him. I had this experience with him. I'm very upset about this. Whereas CM Punk pushed a little bit further, where he said the mind effery that you have when you're processing that. But he also said, my opinion of my experience with Vince, sure, if you're a fan, you want to know about that. But the most important thing about now is, how does someone who is victimized, how do they get to live their life beyond this? And how do we prevent these things from happening in the future? And have I was like, that's people are going to judge your answers and stuff like that, and you're gonna go off on Punk for saying testy things. There's nothing wrong about that. I think that everyone should champion that and get behind it, especially as we're going through the process of this entire thing. Yeah, definitely. What do you think of this? He's certainly being testy here.
Yeah, the whole interview, I didn't get to watch the whole thing because it just broke right before.
It literally just broke before.
Yeah. Up here. So I'm gonna go back and watch it, but I got to watch a good amount of it, and the whole pipe bomb stuff is crazy, but yeah, what he said about the Vince stuff, I think was great. You know, these guys go through a lot of different things and they don't see everything. And we do have to remember there's victims involved here. So, you know, it's not just about what people want to hear. It's about, you know, what's actually happening here. So I'm glad that CM Punk went that route, and it, you know, it shows that he has a heart, because he does. And yeah, that he's a caring is about these people.
So, anything going on this weekend?
Yes.
Well, oh yeah, WrestleMania. WrestleMania going down in Philadelphia. Hit the like button if you guys are pumped for WrestleMania. We're a week out. The card has truly come together. A bunch of big matches were made on SmackDown to kind of clarify this and fill out different elements of the card. A lot of multi-man, multi-person, multi-woman matches to kind of fill out this card. It still is a Cody versus the Bloodline affair with multiple players, and it feels like it's an Avengers Endgame element that some people are speculating could have some surprises. We'll talk about WrestleMania surprises here in a second. But some big matches added to the card, including Jade Cargill, who'll have her WrestleMania debut. She'll be tag teaming with Bianca Belair and Naomi, which seems like a really fun pair if you're a fan of strong independent women like that. I certainly, the way they put it together was not groundbreaking, but fun. I know a lot of fans who are just pumped about that pairing, the three of them together.
Yeah.
They'll take on Damage Control and Dakota Kai and the Kabuki Warriors. That'll be added to WrestleMania. Final Testament, the new faction of dark t-shirt wearing black men who have a Bible or an occultic book led by Killer Cross. They will take on the Pride of Bobby Lashley. That'll be added to the card.
Nice.
And then we're also going to get Dominic Mysterio gets a match on WrestleMania. I was like, if you have a healthy scratch for Dominic Mysterio at this year's WrestleMania, when that guy's been so over, that would have been unreasonable because people have been booing him. Rey Mysterio going to tag team with Dragon Lee.
Nice. Yes.
Who kind of jumps ahead of everyone in the LWO that he gets a tag team. Yeah. So the LWO will take on, led by Rey Mysterio in the tag team match with Dragon Lee, take on Dominic Mysterio, who's going to walk away from the Judgment Day for a little bit to work with, like, a lot of layers to this. As he'll tag team with Santos Escobar. So Dominic and Santos Escobar taking on Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. I think we're going to get a really fun lucha match.
Yes.
I could see that being a match that's in like the middle of the card to kind of ramp people up after some backstage segment. Some big matches added to the show. How do you think the card is filled out so far?
I like it. I like that lucha match right there. I was kind of hoping to get a Rey versus Dominic, you know, one-on-one again, like there was last year.
I think they can do it on another show.
Yeah, they can, and
because they've already done it one-on-one at WrestleMania. Yeah,
definitely, and it was a great match last year. We were there, we saw it. He pulled off his belt and he spanked him, but
it was a highlight of the weekend.
It was awesome, yeah. And
like there was three great matches that I keep talking about. It was Cody versus Roman, Rhea versus Charlotte, and Dominic versus, for the reactions alone.
Oh yeah,
for the reactions alone.
Pop. Yeah. Huge pop during that whole match, and his Dominic's entrance to him coming out in the cuffs, you know, they
I knew some independent guys that worked as the police. You literally said police escort, and they got brought in to work those roles.
Nice.
And they said they rehearsed it, and it was so like they had a ball. But you have to keep it together the whole time you're doing it. So what he's great heat. He just has great.
Oh, he does. Yeah.
WrestleMania weekend, so much going on. We have the Hall of Fame inductions on Friday. I'm looking forward to them.
Are you going?
I don't know if I'm going to the Hall of Fame. I have a lot going on. I'm going to be doing there. Another thing is WWE is doing some free kickoff events that are for the public too. So I'm doing media and interviews on Friday. So look out for those. And there is I'm trying to remember where there's so much. WWE is like literally so many different events in the weekend. And there's an event they're going to do. I'll post about this because there's just like so much like to think about in one weekend. And we're all pumped up for it. Our very own Bill Apter, I'm going to get to work with him and be in person, which is great.
That'd be cool.
And he's speaking to the local NBC News affiliate today, NBC 10. He's speaking to NBC 10. So that just went up. That's pretty cool. There's just so much going on. So just keep an eye out. Follow me on the things. We'll talk about it. There's so much to get into. But let's talk about these WrestleMania surprises.
Let's talk about it.
we knew we were going to get this. So last week they're doing that big beatdown angle with The Rock and Cody Rhodes. Great angle. Didn't it sell the match? Didn't it sell some things there?
Yeah. I loved it. Yeah. And I loved the whole social media part of it too, that The Rock was
like, if that was the go home, it would have been perfect.
Oh, it would have been perfect. Yeah.
Like if that was a go home Raw, and then they did last night's SmackDown, and then we were at it works. But there's simply so much you have to do.
Yeah. No, I love the build up. The Rock is just a total villain right now, playing that heel role perfectly. And I'm all here for it. I watched his UFL league this weekend just because I'm so pumped up about how The Rock is right now in WWE.
Yeah, you're a big football guy. What do you think of it? Any good?
It was good. Yeah, there was some good games. The stands weren't filled out like they.
It's it's the other league. It's not NFL.
Exactly, but they had some good games. But yeah, I'm totally pumped because of how the buildup is going into WrestleMania. They're doing a great job with it right now.
There you go. Yeah. So when they're doing that beatdown, though, there's a big thing that made everyone run to the hills with speculation about this. A production truck is is in the background, and it's very clear. It's well lit. You can see it. It's not hidden. And WWE has big production trucks, and they have big pictures of everyone on the trucks. A lot of them have WrestleMania on them. And they use these as they're going town to town to advertise WrestleMania. Look at that big truck. Oh, yeah, WrestleMania. Oh, Logan Paul, he's in WWE, right?
Yep.
So I've seen those trucks. I saw those trucks when I was going into the arena on Monday. And the one, though, that was positioned right in the camera shot during this big angle where Cody's getting beat down and no one can come to help him is John Cena and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, yeah.
And this is where dots start to connect, because PWI Insider reported even before last week, overtures have been made to Stone Cold Steve Austin about having some type of role at this year's WrestleMania, which we had heard right around November, too. John Cena has gone on the record promoting his new movie, Johnny Stenicki, that he has the jorts ready if the call comes, and he wants to do something at WrestleMania, and he's ready to do it. If and when he can do it. He's kept that time open with his schedule. So, are we getting Stone Cold and John Cena as Cody Rhodes' Avengers? Are we getting that? Do you think we're getting that?
I hope we get at least one of them. I mean, either way, you hear the glass break or you hear the ba-ba-da-da.
Not gonna be like that. You ain't gonna do that to Dusty's boy. Not gonna happen. That's right. Let me crack my knees. Come out there.
It's gonna be great either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see Kim down here saying any chance Dustin Rhodes appears. I did see he made a little cryptic tweet out there. He said he
tweeted after the angle happened. And he didn't say anything. You knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I'd be there. I'm all here for
I don't think you'll see Dustin.
I don't think it's gonna happen, but I'd be there. I'm here for it if it does happen.
He's under a contract with All Elite Wrestling for a significant period of time. I don't think you'll see.
Yeah, it can't. It's not.
And so adding to this, Meltzer, Wrestling Observer newsletter. Meltzer's gotten some things right. He's got some things wrong. Recently, so don't yell at me. I know some people are really anti-Meltzer. He said in the most recent edition of the Observer newsletter, he said, quote, told not to read into things regarding the main events.
Okay.
But there's so much they've teased with it, though. Like, from so many different directions. I've heard some people saying Rollins is going to turn on Cody. And we did an entire video breaking down the possibility of The Rock turning on Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's so many different, intersectional stories with this. It's not just Cody versus Roman. And it's not just that tag team match. It's not a simple thing. But, I mean, in terms of wrestling, it's bordering on convoluted, right? It's bordering on being too much. But they're keeping the nest of wires tightly bound together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm on board. I think it's exciting. Meltzer adding, time will tell, but we were told not to read into that regarding the main events. There is said to be a mystery slot. This is the thing that people are talking about. Whether or not the mystery is Cena or somebody else is not known. What is unknown of WrestleMania, young Nicholas?
Excuse me one more time.
What is unknown of the WrestleMania?
Well, there's
young Nicholas.
there's an unknown superstar. I mean, there's a open slot right there, and
The open slot, the mystery slot, production things they don't put in, things like that.
Yeah.
WWE's they've been keen about having things not come out that you're not supposed to know about.
always.
But I also think they want to tease stuff and get people going. They know how to stir the pot. I think somebody in WWE knew what they were doing. Now, does that mean they're going to do it? But things they never told you, you're getting John Cena and Austin. Mind you, on Raw on Monday, they didn't tell you The Rock was going to be there, and they sold that building out.
That was great. That was awesome.
So, I mean, I think this is giving people more than your advertising.
Yeah, I mean,
and if it plays out this way, we have a predictions video dropping down tomorrow.
Yes.
Of the two matches, that feels the most predictable. The main events.
Yes.
Cody versus Roman. I feel Cody will win, and we will see something very momentous.
Mm-hmm.
But don't you feel like the night before, Rock and Roman are winning this thing? Like they're winning it because they get the advantage, and that it stacks the odds. And this kind of lends itself to writing in this idea of other people coming out. Anything goes. Anything goes. Anyone can come out and like interfere in the match, right?
That's how I'm feeling. And as much predictability as there is, I think they're doing a good job of having it so many surprises that could happen in this match that it's it's still a lot of fun. And the first night I definitely see The Rock and Roman coming away. At first I didn't. I know we had that moment on here a few weeks ago. I was kind of like, they're gonna have Cody go one-on-one with him, but no, I'm leaning the other way.
We'll see it. We got Raw tonight. We got SmackDown. There's gonna be some big angles. I think Cody's gonna be chasing down the Bloodline members, and someone's gonna eat at Crossroads, and he's gonna be standing tall.
Yeah,
and the thing is, last week they got the heat on him, right? Rock beat him up. Rock looked much bigger than him on camera. Rock beat him up. Rock bloodied him.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to get chased off to have the final showdown. And that's what we're going into Philadelphia for. So that's what I think we're going to get on Raw Brooklyn this week to lead into that. I don't know how much SmackDown this past week outside of Jade Cargill. Fun show. They did some angles, but it was really just filling in all the undercard things. They did not have any of the Bloodline angles. Almost all the Bloodline big Rock stuff has been done on SmackDown. This past week, it was flip-flop. They went with The Rock on Monday Night Raw. So it's interesting. Let's get some questions here. Carrie Carpenter saying maybe Stone Cold Steve Austin or John Cena will show up to help Cody. That's what everyone's saying, but it's a widespread speculative point. I don't want to make it seem like I'm saying the guy from Sportskeeda is telling you this. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's a lot of people talking about that possibility. Enough where you don't want the snowball to become, perception becomes reality type thing, right?
Right. But you don't want to disappoint yourself.
But I mean, come on. If Cena's music and John Cena and Undertaker, Undertaker's another name. People.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's going to be in town, and light physicality, doesn't have to do a whole lot. Come down to the ring, you're not fucking around. You know what I mean? Like you, if you give me Stone Cold, if you give me Undertaker like he was in like 97 or whatever when he was waiting for Shawn Michaels to do business at WrestleMania 14, he's like, "Gonna do business, Shawn?" like that type of thing. I'm not down for it.
Yeah, I'm all about
that. Here we go. This is another outlandish thing. This is just fans talking. Eddie Black, can you please react to Roman Reigns quits WWE and Triple H fired by WWE, leaving after WrestleMania 40? Well, there's two big stories there. I've heard the Roman Reigns is going to disappear after WrestleMania, which lends itself to him not being in WWE for a while.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's done with WWE. There's the big Roman and Rock match you can still do, and you can build to that. The Triple H leaving or being fired by WWE, I don't know about that. I really don't. And people tie that and steamroll that into the Vince McMahon legal situation and trying to say anyone who's in a position of executive power in WWE is going to get fired. But that isn't me absolving Triple H of anything. This is a new ownership. They can come in and change things the way they want. And there's some things they're doing that you guys don't see on the surface that are significantly different in terms of how the crews operate at shows, how things are marketed locally, how things are ticketed. And things that were in motion before TKO took over the company are now kind of stabilized, like the On Location company, which sells a lot of the VIP experiences. they're involved in specifics of WWE events, and that's feels like a TKO call. I can't say that it is. They've made changes to NXT. NXT was going to be in an arena. Now it's going to be at the UFC fight complex, reportedly in June, for a takeover event. For one of their premium live events they're going to do on WWE Network and Peacock. So I mean, I can say with all those changes, if Triple H is let go by the company, that would be shocking and surprising.
Yes.
But to do that, is this tying to something? Is there something they're upset about? We read that recent policy last week about how they've changed things, and everyone's conflating that with this or that. And, Kerry Carpenter saying that the Roman Reigns is hinted at retirement if he loses the title. If he retires after losing the title as a character that big and all he does is drop the title, then come on, there's so much more story there, right? There's so much more. Like I'm just doing the surface level, connect the dot. The dot doesn't connect then because I was like, where's the revenge?
Right.
Where's the revenge?
Yeah.
I wanted the kaboom, and there wasn't a kaboom.
I don't see him retiring. I do see him, stepping away for a little bit, adding some mystery to everything, and then coming back when it's not expected, getting a big pop, and just working the crowd a little bit. Coming back for his revenge. The revenge run.
Revenge, brother. Revenge, so sweet. Dean Ambrose will be back. No, he will not. I've said this multiple times. Yeah. And no, he will not. People saying what's going to happen tonight with Raw. Well, it's going to be eventful. I think they're going to. I don't know. The thing is, though, we've seen this the past 4 or 5 years. Am I wrong? The 2 weeks out before Mania feels like the real go home, and then all the TV shows the week of are the let's connect this, get this loose end. And I kind of felt that on SmackDown a little bit. Let's do a big rollout of Jade Cargill, who's an up and coming star. Let's make her feel like a big deal. And they did. They ended. They gave her a segment in the first hour, and they ended the show with her, which is great. Here we go. What do you think, Brandon? Brandon wants to know. Do you think Roman loses? Do we see the end of the title? Do we see the end of this momentous title change? I know all the boys at Sportskeeda would lose their goddamn mind if this happened. What do you think?
I think it's time. I think it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel it in the air. Something's in the air tonight, and
I can feel it coming in the air tonight.
And it's Cody Rhodes.
Hold on.
Exactly.
Yeah. You listen to that song by Phil Collins. Everyone just knows the big drum kicking in, right?
Yeah.
It's a 7-minute song, and that doesn't happen until 4 minutes into the song. So,
which is
those of you looking for that one thing you saw on TikTok of Phil Collins playing drums, and you're using it for memery. Steve, sir, Kevin and Nick, did you listen to the Punk interview with Ariel Hawaii? We covered it. If you're just joining us, we covered all of it. I haven't heard the whole thing because it happened right before we went live. We read pull quotes of it. I hope that's not irresponsible and people are saying, "Yo, you need to watch the thing before you tried it." We tried to, but we didn't want to delay the show by an hour just watching a video. So we got into that here. People saying there is a video about it. Roman Reigns quits WWE. Triple H fired by WWE. Just because there's a video about it doesn't mean it. Eddie, you don't need to promote your YouTube channel here. That's okay. Game Gray, saying what the fans want to say. Give me. I appreciate your take here. Let's just do the fan stuff. Let's go full game babe here.
Let's do it.
I hate to be dramatic. I despise being ever so dramatic in my reading of a fan's comment. But I say I hate to be dramatic. But I can't take Roman as champion anymore. I'm ready to quit watching unless my fantasy booking is fulfilled. I added some things there, but thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm a
good job.
Performer. I'm a performer. I really am.
That was great.
Performer. Yeah, I like to perform. I'm being a total dork, dude. I'm operating on 2 separate 3-hour naps in the last 48 hours. So I'm wired. Here we go. One more from Brandon. Do we see Uncle Howdy come back soon? What type of teaser, or should we get something? Well, next Monday you're going to get a documentary called Becoming Immortal. on Bray Wyatt. That was produced by WWE. Mike Rotunda, Bray Wyatt's father, who's going to go in the Hall of Fame on Friday. He did an interview on WrestleBinge, our other channel, that you need to watch if you're a fan of Bray Wyatt, if you're a fan of IRS, if you're a fan of lifelong wrestling. He gives a lot of insight into his career with Bill Apter. And Bill was, from what I can tell, Bill was going to talk to him about the documentary, but they went into a lot more depth about it. And it was very emotional. And he says this will tell you how much of a star he really is and how much he's seen as a star by the people he worked with.
Yeah.
And that was a special thing. And he kind of clarified on a lot of people, why didn't Bray Wyatt go to the Hall of Fame this year? WWE, in their relation to the family, felt like the family was going through a lot already, and that this would just kind of compound that all, and that he will go in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of if, it is just a matter of when. And they still wanted to do something very fulfilling. And obviously, Mike Rotunda is a guy who was with the company for a very, very long time, not just as an in-ring performer, but as a producer. And now gets to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, and he deserves it, for the IRS stuff, for all those different things. And reminds me, I've not done my taxes, and I have to do that when I get back from WrestleMania. People saying the documentary dropped today. So it dropped on the first. That's right. It dropped on the first. I kept thinking it was going to drop on Monday. I haven't watched it yet, so that's something I don't watch. So people saying, thank you guys are ahead of me. I kept thinking that was going to come out the Monday after WrestleMania. I don't mind that I'm wrong about that. Thank you guys for telling me that. Here we go. Once you get that one, buddy, we'll wrap this up.
William Haney, good to see you in here, says, could Cody/Seth lose Saturday because Seth's opponent on Sunday interferes, causing Rock and Roman pinning Seth?
All right. There's going to be so much interference, and I just want to clean at some point with all the noise, and all the influence and all those outside elements swirling around it, like Endgame. And everyone's saying this is like Avengers Endgame, and it feels that way.
It does.
It's got to come down to two people. It's got to come down to Cody and Roman.
Yes.
And all these other outside elements are about the pop of them coming out, a little bit of physicality, and just telling you, nope. Point at the sign, point at Cody. Now's the time. Now is the time. You can do this. And they will give assistance, but I don't see them getting in the ring until the end of the night. That's the way I see that playing out. Cody and Seth kind of turning on Cody, or at least having some resentment, and then him leaving the weekend also without the title. There's a storyline. It's all interweaved, but everyone has something out of it. No one just serves the story and has consequence to it. And that's why I think the creative overall in WWE has been a lot more compelling to people that are just hardcore fans and casual fans who can just hop in and see this thing. And they're going to watch this. It's going to be the most watched wrestling show of the year. It usually is.
Yep.
People saying, Jeffrey saying Stone Cold and John Cena are going to be there. He's like, oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. It was cool to hear from Roman's family members about his upbringing. Yeah, I mean, let it be known, Roman, if he does indeed drop this title, has done a lot as this character. I think it's fair to assess how much more can you do as this character with the championship.
Yeah.
My assessment is I don't think there's much more you can do. If you want to push this past WrestleMania, Eric Bischoff was saying this. What if they have Cody lose? If you have Cody lose, and Cody Rhodes just signed a new contract with WWE.
Yeah.
To me, that was the nail on the head. He's getting the biggest win of his life, And if he loses, man, all right, you can throw a rubber chicken at me, like they did it. They did at WrestleMania. All right, somebody can find a rubber chicken and throw it at me. I don't care. Give me a Svengoolie, throw a rubber chicken at me. But I don't know. You're with me on this. You think Cody's winning this belt, right?
I think he is. I think it's time, and if they don't give it to him, I'm with you. It's just going to be, I don't know where there's a lot of ways you can go from there afterwards, but it just feels like this is his moment. It feels like this is the right time to do it.
Gerard Stewart, I want to get this in. I like hearing from people that aren't just like hardcore fans that watch every podcast and listen to everything. And I love those fans because it's the basis of what we do.
Yeah.
But Gerard Stewart, I love hearing from a novice fan. Somebody who's just jumping in. It happens a lot during WrestleMania. Like when The Rock came back, people ask you, hey, what's going on with The Rock? Like your friends that don't follow wrestling.
Yeah.
Gerard says, hey, you okay? I'm new to this. I'm not new to wrestling, though. I'm UK, Great Britain, and I went to Clash of the Castle, but I literally cannot wait because WrestleMania 40 will be my first ever WrestleMania.
Nice.
You ever been? You went to WrestleMania last year.
Yes.
WrestleMania it's different. It's just a different show.
It is.
The vibe of going to a city where WrestleMania is, and this isn't rah 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 WWE. It's just wrestling as a culture. When you can go and you just kind of get off a plane and you know that every third and fourth person you're going to see in a place you've never been loves a lot of the same things you do, or they're passionate about a lot of the same things you do. There's something oddly invigorating about it. Just like, you live not far from LA when you and I ran into each other at it. It was just like we just kept like being in the crowd and people just yelling catchphrases into a crowd of thousands of people and everyone being in on the joke or being in on the song, and it's like going to see your favorite band and everyone can sing along, but it's on the scale that's so much bigger because you're meeting people from all these different countries, and also all those little side events are crazy. The WWE World is going to be nuts. The Undertaker live show is going to be crazy. The Hall of Fame is going to be crazy. All the independent stuff. I don't have a ticket for Bloodsport. I want to try and get a ticket to see GCW Bloodsport. I'm doing some live comedy shows. So
nice.
A lot to get into. Nick, you want to plug your stuff, man? What do you want to do in here before we get out of here?
Yeah, on Twitter and Instagram, you can find me at Nick_Harksen. That's Nick_HARKSEN.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to be so busy this week with everything wrestling. I'm going to be doing comedy live in Philadelphia. Punchline Comedy Club on Wednesday night, 7:30 on the All Pro Comedy Showcase. Thursday night, you can catch me on the Nightcap Show, 10 p.m. at Helium Comedy Club. If you go to my Instagram, at KevKellum6, I'll post all that in a graphic. You guys will have all that. You can follow me there. If you follow me on my Instagram story, we'll have all that too. We have a whole bunch of content dropping on the channel this week, including the official Sportskeeda WrestleMania predictions. We'll go into even further. That'll be coming out soon. Over on WrestleBinge later tonight, Vince Russo. I wonder what he's going to say about Monday Night Raw. If you're not feeling the vibes for WWE currently, I'm fairly certain he will give you some element of that on that end. I can also tell you that I am just looking forward to everything that we're going to have. And if you want to just be on top of it, not go to a bunch of different websites, I would suggest you get the WrestleMania tab open on sportskeeda.com, because if you just get one landing page and I knock over a light.
Hey, I can still see you. I can still see you. Love it. Hey, it just adds to the wrestling element.
We're
okay,
live now. Yeah. We're live. Oh my god. Yeah. So we're doing WrestleMania this week. And it's going to be a great one. Thank you for watching the whole show. You gave us 47 minutes of your time, and I really, really appreciate that. Just give us a click of the thumbs up. We're trying to make Rings and Rambles a really, really fun thing every single week. And we have a whole bunch of different shows from Sportskeeda that you can enjoy. As I mentioned, every Monday night, we have Legion of Raw with Vince Russo. Every Tuesday night, we have Unscripted with big names in the business and Bill Apter taking your questions. We have a fresh episode up, by the way, with Jacques Quebecer of the Quebecers is up there too, Jacques Rougeau. And, of course, we're doing big stuff with Wrestling Time Machine, Teddy Long going off recently on John Laurinaitis. That's all over on WrestleBinge. Go check that out. Thank you guys so much here, and I really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. I hopefully didn't break my light. Follow everything we're doing. Sportskeeda Wrestling. I'm hopefully not breaking equipment. I'm almost underneath the graphic. I got to pull my chair up here. But thank you guys so much for supporting everything we do. Hey, Nick, are you going to, have fun watching the shows this weekend?
I think I'm definitely gonna have fun, but I'm gonna do one other thing.
What's that? What is that? Not break a light?
I'm going to enjoy wrestling.